Mabuhay, or in Kapmpangan, luwit kayo. Today's question comes from Malaysia. Jacob of Kuala Lumpur asks, how many volcanoes are there in the Philippines? This question is a bit tricky to answer, depending on who you ask. According to the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, otherwise known as PVOLCS, there is about 24 active volcanoes listed in the Philippines as of 2017. These are volcanoes that erupted in the last 600 years. But if you ask the Global Volcanism program of the Smithsonian Institution, they would tell you that there is about 50 active volcanoes in the Philippines. Now, if you count inactive volcanoes, meaning volcanoes that has not erupted in recent or recorded history, then according to PVOLCS, there's about another 355 inactive volcanoes in the Philippines. So, in total, the answer to the question how many volcanoes are there in the Philippines would be about 400. 400, with about 24 to 50 active ones. But this is not surprising because the Philippines lie in what we call the Pacific Ring of Fire, or this vast region known for volcanic eruption, earthquakes, tsunamis, and all sorts of things related to volcanic and tectonic activities. The Ring of Fire is also home to 75% of the world's volcanoes, from Japan to Indonesia to Chile to Mexico to New Zealand to Hawaii to California to Alaska to Russia, literally every nation and every state bordering the Pacific Ocean. Now back to the Philippines. The volcanoes of the country are also known to be some of the most violent, most dangerous, and most destructive volcanoes in the world. In fact, the world's most destructive volcanic eruption that has happened in the last century, in the last 100 years, happened in my own motherland, in central Luzon, when the dormant Mount Pinatubo surprised everyone with a huge eruption, an eruption that had global consequences for the next decade or so. From millions of people being displaced to hundreds being killed, to altering the global climate, and even weakening American military and political influence in Asia. Nobody expected it because Mount Pinatubo lay dormant, or in other words, sleeping. It has not erupted since the year 1450, long before Europeans discovered the Philippines. I was just a toddler back then when it happened, but I remember the aftermath pretty well because I lived through it. We lived through it back in Pampanga, in Kapmpangan. And we can talk about Mount Pinatubo's eruption in another video. But in terms of volcanic eruptions that I had witnessed with my own eyes, like literally unfolding right in front of my eyes, would be the 2001 eruption of Mount Mayon. I was in Matalipni, Malinaw, Albay, visiting family for a wedding when the gorgeous Mayon Volcano suddenly erupted. It was said to be the last or the most recent explosive eruption of Mount Mayon. Well, until recently, until this past week. Mount Mayon is a famous tourist attraction, a famous destination in the Philippines because of its gorgeous perfect cone. But it is also the most active volcano in the Philippines. It erupts every now and then. In fact, as recent as 2009 and 2006, Mount Mayon erupted. But it wasn't explosive. It was more like lava oozing and flowing out of its crater. Dangerous, but not destructive. But now, at this current rate that we've been seeing in the past week, volcanologists agree that it is pretty alarming. An eruption that could last for more than a month. Experts also say that it is precisely Mayon's perfect cone shape that indicates how often it erupts. Now, the Philippines is home to hundreds of volcanoes of all shapes and forms, such as this one, the Taal Volcano, famous for having an island inside its crater lake, inside another island, inside another lake, inside another island. And Taal, despite its tiny size, is actually a pretty active volcano, with its most recent volcanic activity lasting from 1965 to 1977 for 12 years. And another very active volcano is Mount Canlaon in the Visayas. It exploded. It erupted without warning in 1996, killing 3 people and injuring dozens who were hiking at the summit. And in September of 1897, a tsunami was caused by a volcanic eruption near the island of Sulu in Mindanao. Nobody suspected anything because the volcano erupted from under the sea. So yes, volcanoes in the Philippines are almost everywhere, from the mountain ranges to literally under the sea. But volcanoes in the Philippines are really not that scary. They're pretty much part of our people. So in the next video, we will talk about why people love to live near these volcanoes for centuries, if not for thousands of years. And we will peek into the significance of volcanoes in the history, the culture, and in the diverse people of the islands we now call the Philippines. So tune in. And that is it for me today. If you liked this video, if you learned a thing or two, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to help me make more videos like this, show your support and be my patron. Kakalpong salamat. See you next time, or in Tagalog, kita kits, and in Kapmpangan, meet kitiks.